Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So for today, our group will be presenting to you guys about 8 common logical fallacies. So before we further our discussion, let us know what is logical fallacy. Logical fallacy is common error in reasoning that will undermine the logic of your argument. Fallacies can be either illegitimate arguments or irrelevant points and are often identified because they lack evidence that supports their claim. Avoid these common fallacies in your arguments and watch for them in the arguments of others. So basically, we have to avoid these logical fallacies in order to live in peace and harmony. So yeah, moving on to the first logical fallacy, which is ad hominem. Ad hominem refers to making a personal attack against the person saying the argument. Ad hominem means against the man, and this type of fallacies is sometimes called name calling or the personal attack fallacy. This type of fallacy occurs when someone attacks the person instead of attacking his or her argument. For example, Ahmad wants to voice out the student's problem to the Students Affairs Department regarding on the damaged facility, which is improving the jogging track along the Tasik Unit 10 Kishas. Then, suddenly a people came to him and said that there's no use in upgrading the jogging track since you haven't been there before or you are not an active athlete who jogs every day. So in this situation, Ahmad is being attacked for his mistakes, which is he doesn't jog every day instead of blaming his idea to upgrade the jogging track along Tasik Ilmiah. We need to avoid this kind of fallacy in our life. For the next point, I would like to invite Balqissyara to continue our presentation. Thank you, and the floor is yours, Balqissyara.
Next, the second fallacy is strawman fallacy, which is misrepresenting or exaggerating other person's argument to make it easier to attack. This fallacy is used as a way of attacking the opponent's argument, such as deliberately misinterpret the view or opinion of the opponents as a way to make their claim easier to refute so that they can easily win an argument. As example of a situation that I can give is when when we quote an opponent's words out of context, like choosing quotations that misinterpret the opponent's intentions. The third fallacy is appeal to authority fallacy, which is believing just because an authority or experts believe something, it must therefore be true. So this fallacy would take an individual to simply agree and says that something is true because an authority says it is true despite no proofs or reasons provided. Even though the authority is expert in that field or topic of argument, therefore, if there is no proofs or reasonable reason provided, the statement could go wrong too. So, example, if Albert Einstein makes a new theory and he releases the theory, then everybody will simply believe it is true because Albert Einstein is a genius. So next, I will pass to Mukhriz for bandwagon.
Thank you, Sarah, for the wonderful explanation on strawman fallacy and appeal to authority. Now, I'm going to explain about bandwagon fallacy. Bandwagon fallacy, also known as argumentum ad populum, is a fallacious argument that concludes that a proposition must be true just because many people believe in it, and often we describe it as if it is popular, then it must be true. For example, just because many Malaysians love to eat at McDonald's, it must be the best fast food chain restaurants in the world. Say no one ever. Next, we have appeal to emotion fallacy, which means using emotional appeals in place of reason in order to attempt to win over an argument instead of using relevant facts and logic. For example, a student begging and crying to his teacher to let him pass the exam because if he don't, he will be scolded by his mother. Moving on to Dini.
Thank you, Mukhriz. So next we have appeal to ignorance. Appeal to ignorance is a policy occurs when you argue that your conclusion or your claim must be true, just because it cannot be proven otherwise. For example, you cannot prove to me that you are not the thief, therefore you are the thief. It must be true since there is no solid evidence against it, when it is clearly just based on your assumption. It is also known as stereotype. We have correlation proves causation, or known as the false cause fallacy. Correlation and causation are terms which are frequently misjudged. Just because there is a relationship between two things, it does not necessarily mean that they are related. Can be just a complete coincidence. For example, in a situation, my friend ignores me today. I think she is mad at me. Nope, sometimes it is not true. Maybe your friend is just having a bad day. You never know. Thus, be doubtful of your assumptions as to get clarification and change your perspective.
So thank you for allowing me to present the last 8 common logical fallacy that we usually encounter in our daily life. So the last one is avoid hasty generalization. So in a simple word, hasty generalization means making a claim based on evidence that is just too small. So for example, if we saw a student in the examination hall is cheating in the exam, so we cannot simply say that everyone in the hall also involved in the cheating in the exam. This is because the proof of the cheating is only involve that one particular student and does not involve everyone in the hall. So it is not valid for us to judge everyone in the hall are currently cheating with him. So that is all for hasty generalization. So to conclude all of the presentation that were made by my group members, in a nutshell, we have to avoid all of these common logical fallacies, because if we are being carried away with this common logical fallacy, we tend to make fast conclusion, wrong decision, and also wrong judgment about everything that we have to consider in our life. And also, if we are carried away with the common logical fallacy, people will look us as a person that is not mature enough to make our own decision, and also they see us that as a person that cannot make a critical point or critical solution. So we have to put aside all of our emotion, and also we have to be not biased in every decision that we make, and also make decision based on facts and evidence. Thank you for watching our video. That is all from our group. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.